Hello, hi God. Okay, I need your help with this one. I know. I need to do better next time, right? Anyway, leo niko na mob ya kukushow. Welcome to Life Reframe Podcast episode 3. Guys, I am so excited and first of all very proud of myself to have been here. Because wacha niwaambie, consistency can be hard with this adulting and dealing with the current economic times. Like, let me not even get there. Kumekuwa kunoma, but then we have to keep balancing everything that we are trying to commit to. And for my new listeners, thank you for joining in. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Kama wewe watu wa like and also share with me in the comment section so that we're able to have some conversation of sorts. So last week was my birthday, and I remember just being excited because I felt like it was this new era of, we're making it, we're doing it. It still is, but wacha niwaambie, in the process of now having realized that I'm getting into a new age, a new era, a new decade, a new everything, I always have this set of mind, and especially for every of my birthday, by the way. I love to go back and reflect on what have I been doing the whole year. What did I do good? Where can I improve myself on? What are the things I need to let go? What are the things I need to really put on a bit more effort on? And this is just one of those. And it was even bigger than the other times because, the other times is still in the same age bracket. Unafeel tu uko sawa. You don't have the pressures of everything. And in any case, even if you have the pressures, they're not like really spoken. They're just even very unspoken from people and also in your mind. But then now, I'm just barely a week in, and I can see the whole shift of the mindset that they speak about. You know how people say, ukifika 30, sijui kutaendaje. I think, that mindset, it's that thing where for some unknown reason, and I don't know who else can attest to this, you start feeling like there are things you need to let go and there are things you need to do more effort. Like, things get a bit more serious. And so that's why I'm so grateful for my 20s, because I really had fun in whatever way I described fun as. And I learned so many lessons in that decade. And I'm glad that I was a free bird as I was, because I got to explore very great and deeper parts of myself, which has now been able to bring this me who is here right now. So, to be quite honest, I'm really stoked for this whole adventure of trying out new things. I think when you get into a new era, all you're thinking about is how can you do better? How can you be a better version of yourself? What are those goals that you have been meaning to attain, and how will you now really achieve them? Because now you're getting literally to close, like at the center of your lifespan, and we don't realize that when we are maybe in our 20s. It just feels so sweet. It feels like life is forever. You make plans and dreams as if it will never get to a point where you will have to really take them seriously. Or all these imaginations that we have, we carry them through our 20s, thinking of how we could do that, how we could make that happen, and we are barely ever doing it. Now, this gets to a point where you have to start doing it. Because imagine literally you're at the middle of your lifespan. Because sababu siku hizi, lifespan, it's like 60 to 70, tuseme. Get your statistics right and figure that out for yourself. But one thing for sure is our lifespan inaendelea ikikuwa ndogo. So the more you realize that, you just want to live more wholly. And I feel like that's what we ought to have been taught throughout our lives, like living fully, living wholly, like every part of you are present, they are alive, they are doing it like that was the last day, and that whatever effort you put in that day meant the world to that day. Like that day umeipatia 10 over 10. You know, where you are in an era where it was all about heartbreaks, it was all about discovering yourself, it was all about not even really knowing what you want to do in your career. And now, like you have to get to a point where you get to embrace some parts of yourself that you know are not good, and turn it now to something good. It's also now trying to embrace this change that comes with everything. You know, when you are in a space where you really want to get what you want, there's a lot of sacrifice that comes in play, where you either sacrifice some other things so that you can incorporate whatever you are required to do, like be it skills, be it education, and so that you can better yourself for the next phase of your life. Because it's gonna be so good if you do it right, but it can also be so bad when you do it wrong. We are always on that thin line where one decision, one wrong move, my friend, it takes you like 10 steps back, or you can actually catapult you 10 steps forward just by one decision, or decisions that you now make start making sense for you. You know, there's this thing I always feel like God is a very faithful God, and even when you don't want Him, even when you don't think about Him, even when you have neglected Him and made Him like one of those people to go to and talk to when you require their help, and once that's given, adios muchachos, and you're out. I feel like at that time, Ju, anakwanga na so much grace in our lives so that we are able to be who we are. And you can imagine like campus life. There's a lot of exposure. Adolescence is kicking. Now puberty is really getting out there, and all the childhood traumas are getting relieved again. And you have to really know how to capture those traumas and know where they came from, and now figure out how to handle it. But before you even understand you're dealing with childhood trauma, there's a lot being spilled out in the world that could actually, even if you were not thinking of some things or of doing certain things, you just end up finding yourself in it in some way or another, either by association, either by actively participating, like in whatever way you just still have to be associated. And then it gets to a point where your perception is created, where you're like, hey, me story Z, or hey, and yeah, this one I really want, or this I could actually do. And just seeing the whole change of how you can grow from this kind of person to another, for me, it's crazy. It's crazy good. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. That's why I really get upset when I feel like people want to box you in a space where you are no longer there. You know, if that boy in primary school used to be naughty and a bad person, when you see them right now and they are all grown up, all, have leadership roles out here, and all inspiring really many people, you can't still put the face that you saw in that little boy. That would be very unfair, because there has been so many steps and so many things that have happened in their lives that they changed, and that's the same thing. You meet with people and all they want to speak about is maybe a certain period of your life that you shared with them, and it just feels like you only know that person from that perspective. And so when you start looking at things in that way, you start also narrowing down in who you're going to give your energy, your time, your mind, your space, your ideas, your conversations, your vulnerability, your everything. You just can't be as friendly as carefree, and that bird that just wants to fly and feel the world. You have already felt the world, you have already learned your lessons, and if they're not lessons, you've already grown so much from everything. So you should be doing something different. It feels so good to see yourself a different way that you haven't seen yourself ever. I mean, why would you want to only know one side of yourself that huyu ndio wewe? It's like you have rubber stamped your life that ndio hivi na hivyo ndivyo maisha yangu iko. Mimi napendanga tu sherehe, and even when I'll be 70, I'll just be doing sherehe. What if there are other ways of living that can give you so much more thrill, more than the sherehe? Just thinking about it. I mean, no offense to sherehe. I mean, if you know what I mean. But I'm just like, it's just thinking out loud, like, what if there are so many ways of living this life that can give us bigger thrills? It takes you to a world of you've never even imagined, and we are stuck up in some lifestyles that we feel like that is all that should give us peace. And don't you think that most times we are always almost that certain of knowing exactly what we really want to give us peace? We're always thinking we are very clever, like we know. Mi nikipata hii, in fact ninatulia and I'll be so grateful, nitakuwa nimerelax. Hii kiivana ni hivyo. But until you get that thing and you realize how much more you still want. So even whatever we desire in our minds, to consider that this is what will give me so much contentment, peace, love, the feeling of just home. When you get it, and that was not exactly what you meant, those words are nothing. Unapata tu ata ukiwa na the best, but you won't feel like you have anything close to you. So it's just accepting this whole new change of, na si change mbaya, it's just trying something new. I mean, it's just like how you could change your style. Maybe you used to have an afro and now you decide to do a clean shave. It does not change who you are. It just changes with the mindset, the perspective, how you're feeling life, how you're seeing life. And people start seeing life the way you are seeing it by how you're able to present it. You see, all these things have to be some inner work which have to come out in reality, and then people reflect of that from you. That's why they're able to read and say like, mazena uchalia anaka, huyu ako poa, anakata anaka kazi yake ni nini, just because probably venye umedress, maybe aliamua a change a certain thing that used to make people have a certain perspective. But again, that's where the thin line is of doing something just so that people like you, doing the whole people pleasing thing, and just being authentic with yourself, because there are two people hapo hivyo. Kuna moja mwenye anataka kufanya hizi vitu ndio apendwe, or so that people can have a certain way to see or view them, and that's not even the real them. That is hypocritical, and I don't mean that. I am here for the people who are being authentic with themselves and just being like, I have not had a great connection with God for the last 10 years. I mean, all I ever thought about was like, just go hang out with friends and do this and do that. And now, can't I just try, even step into church at least? And when you keep doing all those small steps, you start realizing, oh my gosh, there's so much you're learning in the other side, and you were missing out because you always thought that a certain different kind of life was the only kind of life. So what if, I want everyone to go back and think about that, like, what if there is a whole other thing that can give you so much thrill, so much peace, so much calms your anxiety more than anything else that you have ever experienced? And why would you also want to miss out on that? Because that must be something very beautiful. So coming into this space, I feel so energetic, so alive, so grateful that I came out with so much to grow, so much to put now the real work into, so much to now expound on, so much to grow into. Like, niko excited that my 20s didn't feel like a waste. They more or less felt like I came out of there so confident, so alive, so grateful, so full of energy, and I just can't wait to see how much more this life has to give. So if you're just somewhere there and you're feeling like, man, I don't know what to even do with my life. First of all, it's not like our countries or the world is even making any economic sense right now. It's so expensive. Like just existing and just living. Unajua ile ya, you wake up, go to work, get paid, do shopping, do this, do that, and then money done. Yani we're barely surviving. So we need to find something that is able to just keep us alive. Like, what keeps you up at night? What keeps you moving? What keeps you on the grind? And I hope that most of you are going to be speaking about something greater within them, and God says that the Holy Spirit resides in us, and however we choose to let Him guide us, He will guide us and atatupatia the best way to doing it. Why not try out something that you have never done before? At least never perish because of ignorance. We are so comfortable in the things that we are doing that kutolewa hapo una feel like that's an inconvenience, or that's not someone who is ana feel a certain way, anabo, all these things just happen every time when you are in a space where you are growing and you're trying to do things a bit differently. Things do change. People also do change. Sometimes you realize like the people that you used to do certain things with are not aligning to now the new things that you want to do, and where do you get those people who actually do the things that you want to do. And when you do find those people, you find that it's not that you actually are not good friends with your friends, it's just that there are certain things that you're now doing that require other people. So that's when you start realizing you're diversifying your friendships and creating so much more friendships out there. Create as much network, get to meet as many people, get to know what people are doing out here, and get as much contact as possible. Information is priceless, and it's the key. Like when you have information, when you have the links, it is always easier. Not necessarily to bribe, but just being able to know that if I require this service, if I require this kind of expertise, if I require this and that, I can call so and so and they can come through for me, without even a blink. But you see, you also have to create such strong and steady friendships, and friendship, like you need to have a good character for those friendships to thrive, because those people are not necessarily like at your best friends. You find like it's just probably a friend of yours who is a doctor, and you don't even speak to each other as much, but you know for a sure fact, if I required any urgent medical attention or help, or just a way to be able to get treatment, that person could come through for you. So those are the kinds of friendships that I feel that now this is an era for, because in your 20s, all you're trying to create are friendships to massage your ego, friendships to make you feel nice, feel loved, feel like you belong, feel like you guys, since you're doing the same things, carrying out the same tasks, you guys are like together, so you just form a friendship. Some people you're not even meant to be friends with, if we were trying to be honest, but you still found yourself friends because of different associations that you guys were finding yourselves into. And so now you're in a space where some of those friendships have worn out. Now, what do you do? And you can't live on this world by yourself. No man is an island. No man is an island. You need people. You need people who are going to really come through for you and come through for you in a loving and genuine way. I'm not saying a million friends. I'm just saying intentional friends. Someone who you can count on. Period. You don't have to be speaking every day. They don't have to be in your house every other second. it's just you know that this person, if I call them, they will get me. Yeah, that's another thing I feel like this era should be about. And I hope it's about that because those are like my expectations. And I don't know who the people who are in this space, how they feel and how true whatever I'm saying is, you know? It's also a space where I feel like it's okay to drop whatever you just feel is not making sense for you. If it's something that's not growing you, if it's something that you've been doing for the last years and you clearly know you could do different, you could do better, it's also just coming to terms with yourself, that self of yours, to change and become something even better, and try to find other things that they could do that could also maybe replace different habits, different things that you are doing that were not serving you. So I hope we also have the courage, like I'm speaking to a future, like at a 40 self, like I hope we have the courage to get through that. Sijui itaendaje, but I hope the rest in this era can tell me more about it. I'd love to know. This is one of those that you practice a lot of forgiveness. You practice a lot of, that is what we never had in the last era, because we were in like a spree. It was like everyone was in a spree of trying to be perfect, trying to be good, and as good as you can be, even when sometimes it was almost impossible. So the pressures that came with that is we did so many mistakes trying to do the right thing and not really knowing exactly even what the right thing is about, why it is even the right thing. But right now we are so knowledgeable. We are at a space where we know what is good, what is wrong, what serves us, what doesn't, how to really handle those things and just become a bit more considerate and more compassionate and more forgiving to yourself. Si ile masaa ya kushinda ukijipea blame game, pity party. No, that's the time to tell yourself, you did wrong, it's okay, but we have to move on, because we want to be forgiving to ourselves. Mtu akikukosea, instead umefura, yani umefura kutoka leo hadi next year, and you haven't even told that person whatever you're angry about. And then you go tell other people why you're angry about that person, as if that person is supposed to be an angel to know what exactly is the problem. So tunatupa hiyo, you know, we become these people who someone has hurt you, you get to them and tell them, hey, so and so, I really, really love you and I appreciate you in my life, but sure, whatever you did here and here, or whatever this that I'm hearing is shady and I don't know what's going on, could you please explain to me? And if they do explain it to you, just let bygones be bygones. But ukisikia ni shady na mtu hataki ku apologize, then you also get to learn something about that person, and you see whether this is people that you want to really invest your lifetime friendships with or not. Remember your 20s, once they are gone, they are gone. There are people you will never meet, the people you'll never hear, the people you will meet even 10 years from now, and you'll not even recognize them. Like watakuwa walichange. Unaangalia tu mtu uko like, na we nimekujulia wapi? You know, like it gets that bad and that's blurry. So you have to create new beautiful memories, new things that you'll be happy about when you're in the next era and you're like, oh my gosh, that was the most beautiful decade of my life, and I feel like I have done myself justice. Even on the worst days, I have decided to choose just, you know, that acceptance of life and everything that I'm going through at that very moment, and knowing that it is not lasting forever. I am only here for a season, and when this bad period or the phase goes away, I will be out here rejoicing and glorifying God because of all the great things that will be happening to me. It's having that kind of faith, walking in that kind of confidence, shining in that, you know, in His word. Yani uko tuna like angels wamekusurround everywhere, uko so confident walking and knowing that everything that you're doing, kuna watu around you to yani guide you, to protect you, to be with you. God has given clear instructions through his word in the Bible that these are my commands, this is how I would like us to live life. And I'm guilty, so guilty as charged, by the way, right now as we're speaking. But you see, I am not perfect, but I know I have been working my way and my journey with God, because if you can't even accept that you're first of all in a wrong place, how are you even going to be helped? How do you even get yourself out of there? And what is more beautiful than see yourself in a journey of growth and to betterness? You know, I feel like kuna vitu mingi sana tunakanga tumetake for granted in our other era, because tunaishingi carefree lives. But then now things are serious. You really need some wisdom, extra wisdom. Si ya duniani hapa, are dealing, unaendelea ukikaribia the spiritual realm, battles inakuwa more crazy and crazy. You're becoming mature every other day. You're growing older. So there is no way you won't tell me your mind wants to keep thinking like it used to think 10 years ago. It'll grow. And so you have to keep battling these things. So this is a new era spiritually, where your demons are not the same ones like kama zile za kitambo. Sasa hii ni ile ya manzi, umepata msee mpoa, mmeanza familia vizuri, alafu katikati manzi sijui nani fulani hapo hivyo amepita, anaona hapana, huyu lazima nipite na yeye. And hiyo tu kupita na yeye moja inakuwa ribi ya famu, like like disastrous kinds of level. Ni kama kucheza game, unaenda the next level. Sasa hivyo ndivyo inafeel. Like hapa si place ya kumekufaala hivyo. This is not a place where you are sent by the company manager. You're supposed to go for this meeting, which you need to take a flight, and the previous day you were so drunk, and unafika airport, you are so late, you miss your flight, and that deal that they needed to seal was a multi-million-dollar deal. Yo, my friend, like these are not the times. When you're in the previous era, you're in this stress free, you're like, mi hata sijisikii, hata mi nimehipa job mapema, hata sitakuja kesho, in fact hata nitaomba off, I'll just call my boss. These are not the times where you'll keep calling your boss ati mi nataka kwenda leave, nataka kwenda off. Oh, you really, really, really want all these offs? I'ma give you a good one. And in fact, go off for the rest of your life, or until whenever you'll decide your off is off, because I need someone who is dedicated to my work. Because also with your age comes that you should have certain certifications, or your level of education should be a different way, or if not education, your level of skill set should be in a way to suggest that you are umekula ka experience, unajua. So they are not expecting anything less from you. If you're like 20, sijui internship, umewekwa pale hivyo receptionist, umekosea sijui siku moja mbili, hadi wanakuambia utakujanga 2 Saturdays. Because you're there to just give a helping hand. You're not there to doing the most. Well, kazi yako ni kutengeneza portfolio in the next other 10 companies before they can actually consider that you've worked so many places, Now you're in a space where you don't just make your mistakes ati ulienda ukakata maji and you're getting to the office drunk, staggering. Even if utachujwa job yenye kupata right now is the hardest. So it's like playing the next level game, but now you have to be a bit more cautious, because pia hapa hivi ungekuwa una vitu zako zinaenda tu vizuri, kidogo you've gotten the wrong man to settle down with, kidogo you've gotten the wrong woman, or you have settled down for all the wrong reasons. Bro, my sis, that is the beginning of your downfall. Like literally you're at the middle of your years. When you mess up, when you're in the other era, in the early other eras, it's by the time you get into this age, you are so mature, you have your things together, you can reason out. But now you're in a space where if you're messing at the middle of this equilibrium, bro, it's going to take you some time. Manze, inafika point unakuwa too depressed, uko guys, sasa hizi ni nini nilijiletea. And unfortunately, you'll still manage to get through it. But then, the hustle, the stopping of dreams, But then I also feel like everything happens so that we can learn something from it. So, however situations turn out for life, I am always positive that there has to be a lesson that someone somewhere is required to learn about. So, I'm so grateful for life itself. When you get a year older, you should be grateful that you're able to get to even the next day. Unless you really don't want to live, by the way, because and that would be worrying when you need to speak to somebody. Everyone is excited for tomorrow. Everyone is excited for to be able to accomplish their future plans. Everyone is always saying, I'll I'll build next year. I'll actually buy myself a house next year. I'll actually get my babies next year. We have all these big plans that we don't even know whether we're going to be there. So let's just have the same kind of hope and faith in life, in ourselves, in everything that we do, so that we are able to really get our best versions of ourselves out there. And so I'm grateful, Sana, to have experienced just that with you and even been able to share it with you, because sometimes you have all those inner thoughts and you think to yourself, hizi vitu zu make sense kwangu ama ni mitu peke yangu najifikirianga hizi vitu, and am I the only one just questioning life the same way? There are people who have kids, probably in not the best relationships. There are people who have kids, just raising them single-handedly. Those with kids, with people who they are not with, but so complicated situations, and they are thriving. They are trying every single day. There are people living with people with disabilities, and there are people who are living with the sick. There are people living with maybe mentally unstable people, and you are here just granted to experience life without all of that, but you are still not grateful. Some of those people could just only ask God for 1 minute, 1 second, for their burden to be taken away, in the sense of our heal through, like wakwe tu sawa, like Isaac waona wanatembea and everyone is just happy, just like they are. Some of them are just like, if my autistic son could do just the one thing, even if it's just one, maybe my paralyzed partner is, I wish tu angeza tu hata tu aongee tu like he's stammering. I wish to. Like, people pray for such things and we're out here just taking life for granted. It's a bit unfair, but I think these are things that we're going to think about and really work on ourselves for, and just become better versions of ourselves. Imagine, let's try to do better. Let's strive to do better. Let's look back and just be like, dang, that I did good. Maze, I did myself proud. I feel like I did every day like it was my last. And that's the mentality we need to have. We need to know that when you go to sleep, that is the last that could be probably about you on this earth. So please just ensure that whatever you've done throughout the day, you did it with your whole heart, and you will definitely see the results. So thank you so much for lending me your ears. I am humbled. I'm honored that you are doing so. And if there are any conversations or just anything we could affirm me in the comment sections, imagine I'll appreciate. I really just like hearing feedback from people, so that you're able to know, like, are you experiencing life the same way, or what are the different ways that they are experiencing life? So until next time, stay focused and stay blessed.